Welcome to the Feminist Wellbeing Podcast. I'm Stephanie Dozier, non-diet nutritionist, certified intuitive eating counselor, and cognitive behavior coach, and I've earned a PhD in diet culture. And at the age of 40, I graduated with a 25-year dieting career, and I'm here today to guide you on how to feel damn good by reshaping your mind instead of your body. And today we're going to talk about one of the most common question, reason why people want to work with me, trigger, failure in the journey of leaving diet culture, which is feeling stuck in the journey of accepting your body, resisting accepting your weight, the whole journey towards healing your body image. This particular podcast was inspired by a few of my clients in the last 2 weeks. As I said, one of the main reasons why people decide to seek help in my world is their body image. People hire me because they're stuck with body image and they tried what they believe to be everything they could try, and they're wanting somebody to help them. That you come through It's Beyond the Food on Diet Your Life program, one-on-one coaching, irrelevant. That is the number one reason why people hire me, and it's totally normal. I just want to normalize resisting accepting your weight, feeling stuck in body acceptance, because we are women and women have been conditioned. We've been conditioned since the moment we've held a Barbie doll in our hand. I have this picture that I use when I do presentation, either guest lecture or workshop. It's a 6-year-old girl holding a Barbie doll in her hand, right? And it's a side look at her doing that. And I want to say that's where it began, the resistance towards accepting your body. Because we have been trained that looking a certain way means everything about who we are as a human on this planet. Women have been conditioned to not accept their body, to always put all their resources, time, money, mental energy, emotional space, dedicated to not being in their now body, to change it. And I want to say this episode may also be for you if you're aging. Because as I'm aging myself, I'm 49, I'm getting a number of women also who want to work with me, who hire me, go in my program, because they can't accept aging. And I want to say it's the same solution, and it's the same reason why you feel stuck with aging as you do with your body, because we're not supposed to get old as women. We're not supposed to have wrinkles. We're not supposed to have gray hair. We're not supposed to lose mobility. We're not supposed to get not as fit, right? We're supposed to stay the same throughout our entire existence, and the same in the way that society defines it for us. So it's totally normal that you are resisting and feeling stuck, because the journey towards body acceptance, body image healing, accepting your body, your weight, require you letting go of all that conditioning. It requires you saying, I am no longer going to thrive in being what other people want me to be. I am going to be me. I'm going to partner with my body and do me and what is best for us together. And that's a huge leap, right? From 20, 30, 40 years of always doing what other people want you to do with your body to now claiming your power of decision. That's major. That's why we're resisting. That's why you're feeling stuck. And the path, the journey, the roadmap, the step by step that you need to do to accept your body requires you to do things that you've not done yet. And I just want you to sit with that for a minute. If you had done the whatever 3 steps, the 3 tools, the 3 things that you need to do to accept your body, if you already had done them, if they were familiar to you, then you wouldn't be stuck in a journey to body image. You'd be like, yeah, I just need to do this, this, this. Bing, 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 bang, bang, done. Right? We wouldn't be recording this episode. You wouldn't be listening to this episode if the things that are required from you to do to accept your weight in your body were familiar, easy to do. That's why you're resisting and feeling stuck. So thank you to my 2 clients that have inspired this episode, because I think it's going to help thousands of women. So how do we know? I'll start there. How do we know if we're resisting accepting your body? Here's what typically happens. Women will hear about diet culture. They will be explained how diet culture is a system of oppression, and you have the ability to nourish yourself without having to lean on calorie counting and macro. They're discovering this new world. And women are like, oh my God, I actually can do this. Because the type of women I work with are determined, intelligent, strong, capable women. So they hear about diet culture. They're like, yeah, totally makes sense. Logical, it makes sense. Yes, I can do this. So women will stop dieting, release the food rule, enter the world of intuitive eating, and then they gain weight. And this is when, like, quote unquote, shit hits the fan. Like, well, that wasn't part of the deal, right? They're like, like, what is happening? Like, that is not what I signed up for. And then that's when they find me typically, right? That's where women will find this concept of body image healing and body acceptance and weight neutral health. And they'll dive into that. And the type of women I work with are now going to read the book, listen to my podcasts, and then logically, intellectually, they're like, yep, that makes sense. Yes, that's supported by science. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do this. And then they either listen to my podcast or read a blog of mine. They're like, okay, I need to do 1, 2, 3. And they start doing it. And it's like, well, that's too hard. Like that, no, there must be another way. So if I say, for an example, you have to, there's 4 parts. So I'm just going to pause here for a minute. There's 4 parts to body image healing. I just want to throw that in. I'm going into the technicality of body image healing here, but what we know by science is that our body image, our relationship to our body, or what our body looks like, is comprised of 4 elements. What we think about our body, what we feel about our body, the way we behave in response to our body, towards our body, like how do we behave toward dressing our body in a way that we feel comfortable, moving our body, so forth, the behavior we have. And then 4th, our perceptual, our capacity to look at our body and be neutral and calm and about it. So 4 part: mental, emotional, behavioral, and visual. So when you want to heal your body image, when you want to accept your body, when you want to accept its weight or the weight gain or the new weight you are in, you have to you have to move yourself through a process that will address those 4 components, right? So into that, there's people like me who create a methodology, a framework based on the science of body image that says, okay, so we got to tackle those 4 things. here's how to do it with specific tools and exercise, and here's the order you should doing it to get the maximum result and the fastest result. Here's what you need to do. So I have a methodology like the body neutral framework that walks you through this. And one of the things that is required to do, or that I say part of my methodology, is you actually have to, for an example, feel your emotion, feel the disgust, feel the hatred you have towards your body. You have to learn to sit with these emotions instead of avoiding them, instead of trying to change them, to avoid them, suppress them, numb them. We have to learn to be with our emotion, and that is not easy for many women. Because the type, again, the kind of women I work with have a mastery throughout their life in avoiding their emotion. They've become a master at it. And they had many successes in their life, career-wise, financial-wise, capacity, because they've avoided their emotion. But it's like anything else, right? As you probably know, avoiding our emotion is not the, I don't want to say the right way, but it's not the healthy way to live our life. And so again, the kind of client I have, they're in their 40s, usually late 30s, beginning of 40s, and then they've avoided their emotion for the last 20 years, and now it's catching up with them. Either they have mental health issue, physical issue, capacity, they're no longer capable of avoiding, so it's catching up with them. And then now they're trying to do intuitive eating and body image. And I'm telling them, you got to feel your emotion. They're like, no, 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 no. Is there another way? Like, can I avoid it? Can I do something else instead of that? And that's what I call resistance. And it's fascinating to me, right? My client work with me, they pay me money to work with me, either one-on-one or in a group. And then I tell them exactly what to do, and then they resist me. They're like, yeah, sound good, but what other thing could I do? And then, or I follow up, if they work one-on-one with me, I'll follow up on the next appointment. So how did whatever we said on the last appointment went? Well, actually, I didn't do it because, and then they'll come up with, I actually did this instead. And that the thing they do, instead of doing the new thing I'm teaching them, is actually repeating what they've been doing in the past. They're like, yeah, but it's easier for me to just do this. So for an example, one of the things that I teach, remember, body image is mental, emotional, behavioral. One of the things that I teach in the process of body image is a mental mindset tool to help your mental health, help you address your thoughts specifically around your body. And I'm very like my process of body image healing is tight. Like there's very specific things I'm going to tell you to do. And one of the things is self-coaching. I'm teaching you self-coaching. And this one client particularly will say, actually, I'll come back the next week. She said, oh, actually, I didn't do that. Instead, I journal. I'm like, yeah, but that wasn't what we had discussed. It's not what I taught you. Yeah, but actually, that's how I'm doing it. I'm like, yeah, but that's what you were doing before coming to me. And that led you to come to me because it didn't work. So why are you resisting? Do you see, this is a resistant. Why are you resisting doing what I'm telling you? And that's what coaching is, right? I keep digging until I get to the why you're resisting. And we got to this place a couple weeks ago. And she says, well, it's because it's too emotional. Because when I do what you're teaching me, it's bringing up very uncomfortable thoughts and emotion. And I'd rather not deal with them. Bingo. That's why you're stuck. Not just her, all of you. That's why you're stuck, is because the thing, the root, the thing that is what was causing you to diet, the thing that was causing you to think you should look another way than the way you look, the thing that caused you to put so much of your resources on controlling your body and your look, that the stem, the root of it all hasn't been addressed yet. And that's the work. The quote unquote, the work is finding that thing, bringing it up and looking at it with compassion. So why do people resist change? Why do people get themselves stuck doing the same thing and not getting the result that they want? Why are people resisting doing things that is proven to be giving them the result they want? It's because people are afraid of failure. Like, women are afraid to not do it right, that it's not going to work. And their capacity to face that failure is not present. They're not capable of failing. So they rather not get themselves into a process that could potentially lead them to failure. But you're probably having that in your mind as I'm saying this, I'm like, but it's already not working, right? They're already, quote unquote, struggling with their body image. So if you tell them to do X, Y, and Z, and they're afraid that X, Y, and Z is not going to work, are they going to be worse off? The answer is, when you are in that place, you think you're going to be worse off. You think that if you try X, Y, and Z and it doesn't work, you're going to be in a worse place than where you are right now. And we logically, and this is what a coach does, when you help someone else, you look at this, you're like, yeah, but you're not going to be worse off. The worst that can happen is the same. But here's the secret. Here's why it's going to be worse off. Here's why we think that failure in trying something new will make us worse off than where we are right now. It's because of the way we're going to treat ourselves, the way we're going to engage with ourselves once we fail. Because we've been there before. We failed before, AKA how many times have we failed to a dieting, right? Start a diet, lose weight, regain the weight, failure. What do we do when we fail? What do we do to ourselves? We are, quote unquote, sorry the word, a fucking mean bitch. We ruminate on how stupid we are and how we could have tried harder and how we caused our own failure and how terrible we are as a person. That happens in the confine of our own mind, but it does create this anxiety because of the way we talk to ourselves. It creates that despair, that sadness, that anger towards our inability to be successful. So women will have this experience among many other with dieting. And then we come to the world of body image, they're like, well, I'm going to fail again because anything I try to do with my body, I fail. And then they know exactly what's going to happen, right? They're going to be overwhelmed with anger towards themselves, with anxiety. And that's why they're thinking they're going to be worse off than just being where they are right now. So this whole capacity to fail, to not know what will happen, because we're doing something new. Not only is the path to where we're going is new, the path is new. So our inability to be out of control, to sit with uncertainty, right? And I did an episode 2 episodes ago, so podcast 407, and I talked about this capacity to be or to feel out of control and the shift that we need to do. So if that's you, if uncertainty, the desire to be in control, to know exactly what will happen is what's causing the resistance, skip 2 episodes past and go listen to that. Bottom line is this. The reason why we resist, the reason why we get ourselves stuck is because we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our ability to maneuver through uncertainty, to maneuver with whatever is going to happen at the end, failure or not, and have our own back and be kind and nice to ourselves. So what's the solution? The solution is quite simple. Like as I'm saying that, all of you, you're going to say, well, that sounds simple. Makes sense. It's logical. Not challenging you to actually do it. So hear me out. This was the solution. Self-leadership. So the number one thing you need to do as you're moving through the journey of acceptance is to lead yourself. Great visual for that is to be your own mother. Like hold your hand through it. So I want you to imagine perhaps a child and you, like you being that mother of the version of you today and holding her hand as you walk through down the path. I want you to lead yourself. So are you looking at the journey of body image acceptance, of transformation through the lens of self-leadership? And if you're not, that could be the reason why you're stuck in one place and resisting. Now, again, don't blame yourself. It's totally normal that you're not looking at it through the lens of self-leadership because that's not how we've been taught to create transformation. We've been taught to create transformation through the lens of willpower and discipline, being a quote unquote hard ass. So it's foreign. So self-leadership. Step 2, compassionate self-leadership. So then I want you to reflect about work. We all know that there's different kinds of boss, manager, and leader, right? There's the quote unquote hard ass, right? Screaming, yelling, being mean. And then there's a true leader who's compassionate, genuine, connects with his subordinates. I want you to be that one. I want you to be a compassionate self-leadership. I want you to hold your hand. I want you to be kind to yourself. Your number one mission to get unstuck and stopping resisting is a deep commitment to having your own back mentally and emotionally. Once you're committed to that, you're going to fail. I am telling you, there is days when you're going to be a bitch to yourself. Meet yourself with compassion when you realize that you're being mean to yourself. And that's going to create what I call step 2, safety. I want you to be focused on creating safety for yourself. I want you to be safe no matter what happened, including gaining weight. I want you to have a contract with yourself. I want you to imagine yourself gaining weight, gaining more weight. And no matter what happened, how much weight you gain, whatever happened, you're going to be nice, kind to yourself, and you're going to figure it out. You're going to create safety. You're going to be safe from yourself to yourself, no matter what happened. And throughout this journey, element number 3, compassion, safety, and consent. And this is, again, fairly new, this notion of self-consent, when we've been a push-through woman or hard-ass woman who just did, but never stopped for a minute to say, do I want to do this? And in the same way that we've heard, and particularly over the last few years, this notion of consent, right? We teach our children, right, to make sure that they're consenting to do whatever they're doing. We're telling health professional like me, make sure that you ask for consent from your client, like enter a relationship between two individuals, right? We've seen the world of Me Too, right? Where it was all around consent, right? One person not getting the consent of the other person and sexually abusing them. Are you doing that to yourself? Are you forcing yourself through transformation, through a process without asking yourself first, do I want to do this? And let's do it together here, right? As you enter the world of body acceptance, of weight acceptance, body image healing, you may gain weight. And I want you to ask yourself that. Do I consent that in order for me to access acceptance, I may gain weight? Do I want that? Am I okay with that? Am I okay with my body doing what it needs to do after years of dieting? Do I consent to doing the mental work? Do I consent to feel really uncomfortable feeling my emotion? Do I consent to do things I've never done before and risking failure? Ask yourself these questions. And if you say no, then that's okay too. Go back doing what you were doing, put acceptance on the sideline, the back burner. Don't try to do the acceptance journey if you're not consenting to all the new things and all the possibility. That's how you create a shit ton of suffering. When you're stuck in that resistance and that suffering and the stuckness, there's so much emotional load that is caused with you, what I call like you're hopping over the fence. When you're not consenting, that's a great analogy, Stephanie. You're literally like over a fence, like you're sitting on the fence, one leg dangling on the left and one leg dangling on the right, and you're hopping. You're stuck over the fence because you're not willing to jump on one side or the other. One side being keep doing what you were doing before, and the other side is the newness. It's that process of acceptance with all the risk. Do you want to stay on hopping over the fence? You want to jump on one side or the other, understanding what can happen. So I'm going to recap it as we're coming to the end of the podcast. Self-leadership, the solution to get yourself into a body acceptance state of healing your body image, of accepting your weight, is number one, self-leadership. Hold your own hand, be your own mother, be your own caregiver as you're moving through every step of the process. Step number two, compassion, a commitment to compassion for yourself as you're moving through all the new things, and things are hard and things are difficult and you're gaining weight and your body is changing and you have to buy new clothes. No matter what happened, you have that deep commitment that you're going to have your own back and you're going to be kind to yourself. Element number two, safety. Again, it's combined with compassion, right? It's that no matter what happened, I've got myself. Like I'm going to prioritize my own well-being mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. I've got me. And then consistently asking yourself for consent. Do I want to keep moving? Do I want to jump from being over the fence to committed to on one side of the fence? Okay, and now I'm going to learn this new thing. My coach is going to teach me this new thing. Do I want to learn this new thing? Yes. Okay, let's do this from a place of consent instead of pushing through. I'm going to leave you with three, what I call powerful questions that I want you to reflect on, to ask yourself, to journal on that. These are questions that are great for journaling. I'm also going to paste them in the show notes. If you're driving, just go to the show notes and the questions will be there. What if the resistance I'm experiencing right now is delivering an important message from my intuition, from God, from the spirit, from my wisdom. Fill in the blank of where your spiritual beliefs are at. So what if that resistance I'm experiencing is meant to deliver me an important message? Question number 2, what if partnering with my resistance was the way to release it? And number 3, what if leaning into my resistance would actually be supportive of me and create more self-trust? What if instead of resisting the resistance, I leaned into it? I hugged it. I was compassionate towards myself, experimenting resistance. And that was the path to creating more self-trust. What if? It was a pleasure being with you today. And if I can support you in any way, you can go to my website under Work With Me, and let's see what we can create together. Love you, my sister. Bye. Hey, my sisters, if you are loving what you are learning on the podcast, you have to come and check out our feminist mentorship masterclasses and our internationally recognized non-diet coaching certification on our website at www.stephaniedote.com/shop. This is where you can get the individual coaching and the support to take the concept thought on the podcast to the next level. Embrace our well-being in a way that will expand our collective freedom and power. Come and join myself and other women to learn how to reshape your mind, not your body. I'll see you there.